Hey guys, welcome back to another video, another flatbed episode. So, if you didn't see the last couple videos, got the whole deck built, and then we built this headache rack, the last video, and so I ordered in some plate for this, and it came in real quick. So, I'm just doing 1/8 inch. I don't want this bed super heavy, so I figured 1/8 inch should be plenty. I may add some bracing in here on the bottoms, just maybe one down the center. If that 1/8 inch isn't rigid enough, so I'll get a piece cut, set it in there, and then kind of see if it needs any reinforcement. But another thing, I bolted on my hitch, and there's no way this thing's gonna work. It's sitting way too far out. It's probably 10 inches out from the back of my bed, and this is coming straight down here. So I'm either gonna have to completely redo it, or I may just use these plates here and kind of build my own from there. But I'm gonna build that whole rear section, and then I'll figure out where I want the hitch. So that's in the future, but figured I'd tell you while you saw it sitting there. Anyway, so what I'm going to start with, before I put my plate on the bottom and the sides and everything, I want to pull this bed off and fully weld it and get that out of the way before I put that plate on. It's going to be a lot easier to weld all these joints without having the plate on. So I need a hand. This thing actually isn't too heavy. I can lift it up with one arm on one side, but getting the whole thing off by myself is obviously gonna be a pain. So I'm gonna see if my brother or something will come over and help me get it off. I'll weld it all in, then I'll put it back on. Actually, I probably won't even put it back on. I'll sheet it all, and then I kind of want to put it back on just to get an idea of what this rear is gonna look like as I'm building it. But anyway, for right now, what I'm gonna do is got my specialty cardboard templates. I'm gonna come up here and do a piece, if I can get that to stay there. I'm gonna do a piece just like that, and so I'm gonna cut that out, tack that in, and then I'm trying to decide what to do up here. I may just do something on the corner like that, or I have seen people do like a complete header across the entire thing, but then you're losing a lot of visibility. You know, if you got 6 inches hanging down looking out your rear window, you're gonna see all that. So I don't know, I might just do corners, kind of to halfway match the bottom here. But I'll get these cut out, and I'm actually gonna bend it too right there at this joint and follow the outside, so that'll be nice and clean looking. So I'm gonna cut those out and get those tacked in there. So for these sides, I actually got some 1/4 inch plate I'm going to use. I think just a little bit thicker will look better on those. And so I picked this up, and I'm excited to give it a shot. So this is it's basically a skill saw for metal, and it's got some sort of carbide blade on it. And I bought it for this project because I got to cut all the sheet metal up, or all this plate, and it's supposed to work pretty good. I've tried it out, just a quick test, and it cut really good. The nice thing about it is it doesn't make a big mess. With the carbide blade, it cuts it, not like a cutoff wheel where it's sitting there grinding and grinding and grinding, and it puts a lot of heat into the metal. Not that it matters a whole lot on this, but this literally, when you're done cutting it, you can touch it and it's not even warm. So, and you can get a lot straighter cut, and it cuts really fast. So we're going to test it out on this 1/4 inch and see how it does. Alright guys, got these bad boys in there, looking pretty good. So all you really got to do is score the backside, cut into it with a cutoff wheel, maybe 2/3 of the way or so through. Then you can bend it and you get a nice corner on it, and you don't have to cut it or weld it and try to grind it all out. So that looks pretty cool. So I'm just gonna leave those tacked till I pull flatbed off, and then I'll go through and weld the entire thing up. So now I'm gonna figure out what to do up here. I might kind of do the same little design around the corners. Alright guys, this is what I came up with for this top section. So these are just gonna sit weld in right there, and I think I'll just leave this weld exposed and the welds along here exposed, because I can't get it flush because of this, how that's sitting at an angle to this piece. So I think I'll have a little, I'll leave some of my welds exposed that that obviously aren't going to look good ground out. So let's get this tacked up in there and see how it looks. Alright, got those welded, tacked in there. I like that, I like the look of that, so should be good there. And if you're wondering, yeah, my brother came over and we pulled this deck off, so now I can go through and fully weld everything in and get it ready for that plate. So that's the next thing I'm going to do, is go through and make sure you clean all your joints that you're going to weld. This stuff has oil on it to prevent it from rusting, so before you go weld it, just take a rag and some acetone or some sort of cleaner, wipe down everything that you're going to be welding, and then yeah, it should be good. So let's get that done. Alright guys, after much welding and much more grinding, this thing's looking alright. So I ground all these welds down here on the top, because I'm going to be plating it, so it's got to be smooth. All these corners turned out pretty good. And then these plates I ground in smooth, so they're not perfect, but what my plan is, I'm gonna do that Raptor liner on this bed. That stuff's supposed to be pretty strong, and it's kind of more of a textured finish, which I kind of want, because obviously my seams on all the plate is going to be ground, and that is very, very, very hard to get real smooth and good looking, to where if you just put like a paint on it where it's a real thin smooth coating, you're going to see all the imperfections in it. And like all this too, I mean, it would take quite a bit of time to get this all 100% perfect, so I'm gonna get it close enough. Like some of these actually turn out pretty good. This is all plated, so that's all not ground smooth, so not worried about that. And then all the top here, I think I'll leave those welds just because they're kind of a pain to get in that crack and smooth those out. So I think I'll leave those. So now I just got to cap the tops here, and I think I'm gonna plate the front first, and then I think I'm gonna start on the back drop down section. So I'll get that kind of mapped out, kind of see what I want to do there. So let's get started on those caps there. I'm going to get started on this back section. So I am going to plate from here around this edge, and then obviously down around the bottom. So this whole front will be plate. So I'm going to get some of that on the ground, get it cut out up on here. I think I'm just going to cut the height, get it on here, and then just trace it, so I don't have to try to do my angle magic on there. Make it much easier. I can just set it right on top of here, put it up there, trace it out, and go cut it. So let's do that. Alright guys, that whole front plate is done. Yeah, I know you don't really need to fully weld it. I didn't weld the bottom all the way in. I stitched the bottom. But the welder was doing good, you know. It was looking good, so I decided to run a bead all the way down. I just stitched it, you know, 2-inch little stitches, and then down the side. Alright guys, got that cut out. Fits pretty good. So what I'm gonna do now is, so from here, this line right here ends at this corner. So from this corner, I'm gonna score that line with the cutoff wheel and bend that in to meet up with this corner here. Sorry, that corner there. And then this bottom piece is also gonna fold under like that. So I'm going to score that line and fold that under as well. Alright guys, got that rear section tacked on. So this is where it's going to tie into the fenders up here. So I kind of want to get this on the truck before I build the fenders, so I know exactly where the tire's sitting, and I can kind of figure out and see how it looks on the truck. So for now, what I'm going to do is fill in this piece. It's going to be a triangle section from there to there, and that'll like all these little triangles are going to strengthen this. I know this is only 1/8 inch, not super strong, but it shouldn't be much abuse back here. And with all this, there's going to be one here and then probably another one coming under this way, so it'll strengthen it all up, and it should be plenty strong when I'm done. So it's actually, I got a couple tacks on there and it's already not terrible. So I'm going to trace out some triangles for here, get those tacked in, and then I might do one more here, and then I want to put on the truck, see how it looks. And before I go any further, I don't want to get too far, get on the truck and it looks weird. So let's do that. Alright guys, those pieces are in. So before I do this last piece, it's going to come from this corner up to this corner. But before I can do that, I need to get this permanently secured in the spot where I need it. So in order to do that, I need to get these fenders kind of built, because I might need to move this, you know, just a little bit here or there. So I left it untacked. So I need to get this thing back on the truck, figure out what I'm doing with fenders and how it's going to wrap down here and connect here. Then I can tack this all in place, because if I make that triangle right now, it's not going to fit if I need to move it out or in. So I'm going to get this back on the truck. Hopefully Devin will come back over and we can do that, build these fenders out. Alright guys, Devin came over, we got the flatbed back on, and this thing is looking so freaking gnarly. It's gonna look so good with that back matched up with those gussets and everything. Dude, this thing is looking sick. So I'm getting these fenders figured out now. What I'm gonna do is cut on something like this for here, and this is gonna be angled down like that, as you can tell, and it'll weld on here, which that is going to strengthen this whole fender up, having this extra little bit hanging off here and welded at an angle, and that'll help strengthen this entire section. So I'm going to run this all the way over to here, then down to here, and then there'll be another piece that comes up from here and kind of ties it all in together and covers this. So it'll come from the bottom of this piece all the way up to basically this 2-inch or 2.5, I think, spot right here where this ends. So it'll kind of all tie in together and flow. And then, like I said, I got one more piece to come up through here, but very slight issue. This frame rail is just barely in the way, so I may have to trim just a corner of this frame rail off, which that's not going to hurt nothing, obviously. A lot of people just chop these all the way off, actually, when you're doing, you know, if you bob a bed or put a shorter flatbed on it. So I think I'm just going to trim that corner off and then get that plate in there, but I got to build all this first. So let's get to it. I'm going to cut some strips for that and some triangle pieces, and this thing should be looking pretty sick. Alright guys, got some stuff cut up. I thought I'd spare you the cutting and more cutting. It's kind of, I'm sure it's kind of boring after a while, so spare you that anyway. So I got these cut up, so that's going to go just like that, and there's going to be another piece from that line down there up to the corner, and then I'll do that little bit of a 1-inch little angle off of here all the way up. So I'm going to tack all this on there nice and straight. I'm just going to go straight along with this side rail, and then I'll grind it smooth, and you shouldn't even see it. So there actually is a little bit of a kind of a bevel in here because this tube is rounded on the edge, so that'll make it easier to weld. I don't have to bevel everything. So let's get this tacked on there, get this tacked on, and then we can cut some more pieces to fit in here.
The Looking good.
Dude, you're getting fucking shot. Get the fuck
Oh, goddamn.
Alright guys, got both these fenders tacked on. Looking pretty good. I got another issue here. So, you see I cut my frame a little bit. I made this up. Little cardboard template like usual to go here. But, we have a problem. I'm not going to be able to get the flatbed off because the frame, this piece here is underneath the frame, so the full flatbed needs to come straight up. It's on studs, so I'm gonna either have to cut the frame, cut this mount off and move it forward, or I don't really know. I mean, that's really my only option because this whole piece needs more support. From here to here, and that'll stiffen everything up, so it needs this piece. So that might be my only option. I might have to just have to cut the frame, pull this flatbed off, cut this mount off, and just move it to this forward hole, and that would literally solve all my problems. So that's probably what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna have to pull this all the way back off. So yeah, I guess we'll have to get Devin back over here, pull this flatbed back off, cut those mounts off, move them, and then we can cut this piece, get that piece in there. And that'll also kind of encase this back too. It looks just wide open right now. But if I take a piece, run straight or close to straight down to that other piece, I think that'll it'll complete this rear right here. So that's the game plan. Other than that, I need to decide if I'm going to do those little steps, and then fully weld and grind all this stuff smooth, which should be pretty easy since there's that corner. I mean, these outside corners are really easy to do. The flats aren't as easy, but this one's got a nice gap, so there's going to be a lot of the weld that sits inside. So it's going to be not too bad to grind those out. So I think I'm going to end this video right here. It's getting pretty long. It's late. Long day. So this thing's coming along pretty good. I'm stoked on how it's turning out so far. It's definitely been a lot of work. This thing is, you know, it's not your average square flatbed. There's a lot of custom, you know, all these little angles and everything. This takes so much time, not only to cut, but to figure out exactly how to cut them, you know, to make it fit right, and then it's got to look right too. So I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I got a couple more videos. We gotta sheet the whole top, and then we gotta do paint. So I think I'm gonna do the Raptor liner on this thing. I think that'll look pretty good, and like I said, all my little imperfections, it's gonna blend all those in and kind of hide them. So all the little grinding marks and the welding imperfections and everything, it's gonna hide all that. So I think that's the game plan. But stay tuned on the channel. Next video, we're gonna pull this thing back off, cut some mounts off, fix all that crap, cut the frame, and then we can move forward. So thanks for watching, guys. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you in the next video.